Have you noticed 99% of craft rooms are a mess, even though all we want to do is find stuff? So my question is, can messy people be organised? This is my crafty angel mum's craft room. She sat in the lounge room, which was also her craft room. She even used the kitchen table and the sideboards. This was her space and her way of keeping it. You can't judge people who have their craft room like this. You would never know, looking at these photos, that this was how she created. In this video, I'm going to show you a way to store papers, pages, scraps, and collages that you've made so you can easily find them again. I'm using my Dymo label maker to make the labels. I'm using these clear pouches. They're a sturdy, clear envelope. And I'm going to show you some ideas on what type of boxes you could use to be able to flip through them easy and find what you want. I put a link in my description below to show you what clear pouch envelopes that I'm using. There's an Australian link and the USA link. You can get 12, 20, 30, 40, you can get 100 of these envelopes in an order. They're pretty sturdy. They come in A4 size, but they'll actually fit a letter size piece of paper inside. So they're pretty roomy. I'm using the Dymo label maker. You can get metallic ones, you can get white ones, you can get black ones or clear ones. What I also like to do when I'm making my labels is I push this space bar a couple of times. Sometimes I might push it 9 times, type my label and then push it again, and that gives me a nice amount of space before and after my word, and then I print and cut my label. The colour that I'm using to make these labels are the silver metallic. These are 9mm wide. I'm also using recycled transparency to make my labels. So I just pulled one of these books apart and just used the transparency on the front cover. I cut a wide strip 2.5 inches wide, and then my labels were 1.5 inch deep. You can make a template. It just makes it easy. If you're making 20 or 30 of these, having a little template makes it nice and easy. You don't have to keep measuring. I peel the back off the label, stick it down and cut the edges off. Put my template on it and just mark it with my pokey tool and then cut it off. That's if you're making one at a time. I'm using glue dots. I'm using the real thin ones, the real flat ones. Make sure they're on the front, not the back. I've put an Amazon link below for these as well. I use 3 per label. I put 1 down the bottom and then I put 2 up towards the top on the left and right hand side of the label. If you've watched any of my past videos, you would have heard me talk about how my mum had everything in multiples. If you're new here, I inherited my mum's entire craft room. She had multiples of everything. These glue dots are no exception. When I went looking for a packet of glue dots, this is what I found. I found heaps of them. I'll never be running out of glue dots anytime soon. When you put the glue dots on these labels, you've got to put them on the front. So all you've got to do is put your label on the table and then lay your envelope over the top. And you'll see why I've put a dot at the bottom is because if you don't, these little pieces of acetate at the bottom here will get caught on each other when you're filing them away. So this piece lifts up. So you can see by having a 2.5 inch wide label, it just gives you more room to write a longer label. Now here's what I do when I want to make more than one label at a time. So I just cut out my 2.5 inch wide strip of transparency. Then I put my first label on the very top. Using my template, I place it on the top and then mark it at the bottom. Once I've marked it at the bottom, I then put my second label underneath that. Then I put my template back on again and mark that bottom, and then put my label back at the edge of that line. Then I put my template back on again and then mark it at the bottom, and you can cut them off one at a time. You can use a ruler or freehand. Just cut nice and slow because they do slip. You don't have to go buying any labels, just make your own. There's lots of container ideas that you can use to file away these envelopes. Like these gift boxes here, these are perfect to use. These filing boxes are really good to use. They've got these little holders here. This box here was just a packaging box of a hard drive that I picked up. These gift boxes have some beautiful patterns on them and they're not overly expensive. You can get them between $4 and $9 a box. All you got to do is make sure that it's a little bit wider than your envelope. I bought these silicone cookie molds and I never used them. So these are sitting in my room taking up space. So I'm taking out the cookie molds, putting them up for sale, and I can reuse the box to put some of these envelopes in, and I'll know exactly where to find my pages and ephemera or whatever I put in here. One thing you do have to bear in mind, your envelopes will fold over. See how they just sort of fall over? Because there's not enough envelopes in this box. So just grab another box or a book or something and put it at the back if you haven't got enough to fill in your box. I'm bringing back this box here. These are a file folder box. They're made to fit this size envelope in them. I'm taking this little holder out. They're really easy to take out, and you can store them upright like this, or you can store them laying flat on the table. Depends again on how much space you've got. These clear tubs are great because they've got handles on the side, but just be aware that you get the right width tub. This one here at the front is a medium and the one at the back is an extra large. Bringing back the cardboard boxes that you might have received something in the mail. This just happens to fit perfectly. All I've got to do is come along and hand cut a scoop in the front. Any boxes, you've got it all. This one's a bit narrow, but you get my idea. I got this clear box from Howard Storage in Australia, but I won't be going out and buying any more of these because I've got a pile of these gift boxes to use. So just use what you've got at home. Once you've got them in here, they're so easy to just flip through. You see through the envelopes, you've got your labels on top. You can find things so much easier. They fit in little thin magazines like this one here. This is 12 by 12 scrapbook leftovers. It's just a great system to use. They're not really designed to put anything overly thick in here, but you can put thicker things in here if you really need to. I know it's important more than anything, knowing where it is, being able to find it easily. When you've got a box or a tub of these files, I'll guarantee you'll know where they are all the time. I know it's not going to magically tidy up your whole craft room, but it's definitely going to help you sort out a few pages and some scraps and bits and pieces of ephemera that you are not sure where to put them. Happy sorting out, and I'll see you on the next video. Ciao for now.